Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm here in Medellin, Colombia with my good friend, well I just met him, Kale, right?
Kale, yeah.
Yes. And he's been investing in real estate or rental properties here in the city. And so we're just gonna do a quick question and answers so you get a little bit more of an insight on what the opportunity looks like here in Medellin, Colombia. So Kale, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Kale McMartin. I moved to Medellin about a year and a half, 2 years ago. I backpacked around Colombia about 2 years ago. Started in Medellin, went to Salento, which is like in the coffee region. Went up to the coast, Cartagena, Santa Marta, Palomino, San Hill too. So pretty much most of Colombia, and yeah, I fell in love with Colombia, Medellin especially. Just everything about it, the weather, the cost is cheap. Yeah, I mean nature too. Like it's like hour and a half hours, 2 hours outside of Medellin, you have incredible, parks, nature. So yeah, for me, Medellin is like the perfect city to live in. The only thing is missing is like the beach, but I mean,
Just a couple hours.
yeah, I mean, like you could take a flight to the coast for $50 round trip to like Santa Marta, and then you have the beach there. So
Very nice.
yeah.
And so how long, I mean, you got here to Medellin, and then how long did it take you to get into kind of the rental property business here in the city?
Yeah, so really like the first month that I moved here.
Yeah.
The story is my roommate was doing it here, and he was telling me about it. Kind of just the process, like how to get started.
Right.
Because it still is kind of like a pretty new business model and concept. Because Airbnb was started just like 10 years ago in 2008, I think.
Okay.
So yeah, like first month I was here, I met him, told me about it. So I picked up my first property, figured I'd see how it went with one property. Everything went good. I was, cash flowing good money. Then I picked up a couple more, and I actually don't rent, but I work with a hotel as well, in the Proventa area. And basically the story with that one is I just went to use a pool, and the manager was like, asked me what I did. It's like I do some online marketing stuff, Airbnb. It was like, okay, we need someone to help us, with marketing. Airbnb is what you'll find in Colombia. People don't know much about marketing.
Right.
Airbnb. So yeah, I mean, I was like, okay, yeah, I can definitely help you out. Listed the space. With that one, it's a smaller hotel. So I actually listed the whole property and kind of marketed and geared it more towards, groups that would come down here, like bachelor parties in the US.
Yeah.
And the margins, like what I would get on that, were quite a bit better than just like individual rooms. So yeah, that's kind of how I got started.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So you got here, your friend introduced you to the business model, you got your first apartment. Now your first apartment, what was your initial investment to get that first apartment? I know prices are relatively cheaper. If you guys don't know, it's like every $1 US is 3,600 Colombian pesos or something, about like it fluctuates, but it's around there. So considering that, what was your initial investment to get the apartments? And then did you furnish it? Was it already furnished? Did you add new things to make it kind of Airbnb style?
Yeah. So the first one was like a 2-bedroom in Linde subsector in Lado. For that one, it was actually direct with owner, which is better. If you can go like direct with owner, it's much like the agencies here are total shit. Like if you can avoid agencies, like that's the way to go. So with that, it was 2 months rent deposit, and rent per month was 3.3 million, so pretty much $1,000 per month. That apartment was like partially furnished, so it had like the major appliances like fridge, had the TV, stove. So like the big expensive stuff was already there.
Right.
I just kind of the more of like the outdoor furniture, plants, just make it look nice. And when people like book Airbnb, I guess it's important to furnish it more like homey, so like really good towels, good sheets, make it feel more like a homestay.
Okay.
Versus like hotel. Usually when people book Airbnb, it's because it's not a hotel.
Right.
So I think cost to furnish that one was like about $1,500.
On top of the deposit that you.
So
Okay.
like 2 months deposit, and then $1,500 in furniture.
Okay. So that's like 3,500.
Yeah, $3,500.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm not sure if that's probably like 3 million pesos.
Okay, so
Yeah, something like that.
Over 10 million. Like 3,000 times 3.
Yeah.
So 12 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Around. Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. So with filling up your investment with I don't know with guests.
Yeah.
Did you struggle doing that, or was it kind of just listed on there and they just came in as?
Yeah, so I was like actually kind of nervous with my first one, like how it would go. I was like kind of investing all this money, like what if I don't get any guests? But yeah, like so once I threw it up on Airbnb, I think I had my first booking within like a day or 2 days.
Okay.
So super quick. And yeah, I mean since then like occupancy rates were about per month about 26 to 27 days out of 30 days. So that's about like 90%, I think. And I think I could have actually had it more, but if someone booked like for 3 or 4 nights, and then I had like a day or two gap, I would just kind of leave that there.
Okay.
So yeah, like the market before quarantine and everything happened, Medellin was super hot market, and if you had a place that was in a desirable area, like you had no problem booking it out. Yeah.
Okay, and even during the pandemic, because you started right before the pandemic, right?
Yeah, probably
during-
like a year before it started. So
Okay.
almost a year. Like I was, yeah. So I was kind of like just getting started when all this happened.
Okay, cool. So even with the pandemic, there's still opportunity, and it just depends on your perspective. So with this apartment, in terms of ROI, you invested 3,500, and in the how long did it take you to recoup your investment? Did it take you 2 months? And the nightly stay, what was that price that you were doing? The nightly stay.
Yeah. So like to recoup the investment, it was about 2 months. I was cash flowing like. So what you'll find with Airbnb, like initially you have to like kind of drop your price below market rates, just to build up reviews. Once you have 3 or 4 good 5-star reviews, then you can start to increase and get to the market average rate. So yeah, it took about more or less 2 months to recoup those costs. And then once I had more than 5 good reviews, I was charging about anywhere from like 90 to 125 a night. It really just kind of depends, right? So yeah, once I got some good reviews, it was about cash flow about 2,000 a month.
2,000.
So like 3,000, and then my costs were like 1,000, so about 2,000.
Okay. Nice. So that's good. Good ROI there. And the thing with this, you can keep cash flowing them without much maintenance. Maybe something breaks, you throw in a couple dollars and fix it.
Yeah, like small things. Yeah, like usually I would fix that. If it's something bigger, because I was running the place, you can have the owner fix it, because technically like it's the owner's responsibility for. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So you started off with 1 apartment, and now you work your way to how many apartments now?
So I had 3 when started. So yeah, 3 apartments and the hotel.
Okay. So and that hotel has about 10.
The hotel is 17 rooms, but I only had 2 individual rooms on Airbnb.
Okay.
And then the whole hotel. Because what I found was just like the margin I was making with rooms, it wasn't worth it versus what I was getting with when groups would book out the whole place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the margins were
Okay, very nice. I mean, so that hotel is a huge opportunity for you, right?
Yeah.
And so, like long-term plan, because with renting, I feel like renting out the apartments is the start. You get cash flow in, get your ROI in, and have control over the properties. And it's very convenient. If you want to stay at a vacant property, you can go ahead and stay there. And then maybe you want to leave and go and visit another area. Maybe you have one in Cartagena, maybe you have one in Medellin or one in Bogota. So very convenient. Long-term plan, do you see yourself purchasing maybe a building here as to have much more control of your investment?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, like you said, like it's good just like to get started with a couple apartments, get your feet wet. But yeah, going forward, definitely, especially with the virus and quarantine, the local economy here got pretty decimated. Just with the tourism industry, Poblado, Jettis area,
Right.
and they didn't have the government help like we had in the U.S.
Right.
So anyone that had any kind of business, tourism pretty much got decimated. Like if they couldn't convert it to like long term, what I did with my Airbnbs when quarantine started, I had to convert it to month to month. But yeah, going forward, definitely looking at more like whole buildings, like hotels, houses, where I can maybe like convert some of the rooms to like individual rooms, or maybe just do the whole house for like more like group type stuff. Yeah, so more places where I just have like more control, and I see a lot of opportunity with bigger places too, like where groups come and stuff like that.
Cool. So I mean, with taxes is a big thing. So you're doing business in a foreign country. You're from the U.S., correct?
Yeah.
How does that play? And you've established your business entity or perfect? Okay.
Yeah.
So how does the taxes work exactly?
So it's kind of great. I mean, like, so if you live outside the U.S. for 11 out of the 12 months of the year, you're not required to pay U.S. taxes below, I think the 2020, it's like under 110,000 USD. You don't have to pay taxes on that. In Colombia, that's where it gets kind of gray, and technically, like if you live here more than 6 months out of the year, you're supposed to pay taxes on that.
Okay.
But that's that's gray, and it's like how are they gonna try? Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. And at that point, you can leave for like a week and then come back, right?
Well, so if it's
reset?
6 months of the calendar year, so if you live here for more than 6 months, you're supposed to pay taxes in Colombia.
Cool. Okay.
But I think there's some ways around that. And,
Yeah, definitely. Taxes. There's 2 things that are certain in life: is death and taxes, right?
Yeah,
so it's always good to know how you can keep more of your dollar, rather than pay it. Especially, I mean, it's good, I guess, to pay your taxes if you'd like to, but if you cannot pay any tax, it's phenomenal.
There's definitely some ways, legally that you can get around it. And we're talking with tax accountant right now, just to kind of setting up like a corporation here. Right. And yeah, we're talking about taxes too. Yeah.
And so since you're into rental properties, you don't really own them yet, right? You're getting it from the owner.
how does the depreciation, like, 'cause can you exercise depreciation codes to lower your tax bill?
I don't think so because, yeah, like you said, you're not actually like owning the property.
Right.
This arbitrage kind of thing, you're just renting it long term for like 6 months a year,
Okay.
and then you're subrenting that, daily on Airbnb. So yeah, you don't own the property. So yeah, I don't think there's any like depreciation you can do.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, seems like it's a great step in the right direction to owning property, especially if you live in Florida and you're looking to do something like this. I mean, there's no. I mean, you can choose the Philippines, but that's across the whole like the world, like on the other side of the world. I mean, I feel like Colombia has an established economy that was going through some hardship in the 80s, and now they're going back up, which I feel if you tap into it early, you have some significant ROI. Now, of course, that's just my opinion. I don't really know, but maybe if you agree, that's you can decide on your own. I don't know what's going to happen 10 years from now, 5 years from now, or tomorrow, but it seems like it's a business model because a lot of people like to invest in the stock market, right? I feel like the stock market, it shouldn't be the main source, right, of income. It should be, you should have some cash flow coming in from different sectors and then take a portion of that and risk it in the markets to grow your portfolio. I feel like cash flow, if you have control, you're going to have cash flow. If you have cash flow, you have control.
Yeah,
so
you need cash flow for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a great opportunity for maybe those that are interested in doing these. I mean, I heard in Houston they recently passed a law that it's your right to host a property, or a right to do it. So there's opportunities in the U.S. as well. Now, if you're looking to leverage your U.S. dollar without taking out any loans or anything like that, now you can take out a loan and play it smart. But if you're not at that stage where you want to accumulate debt, I feel like choosing a country that has a pretty significant currency exchange compared to the dollar is a great move. And you can look at apartments as cheap as $250 a month here. So your living cost and everything else, like if you're making money online, if you're not obligated to a job or something, I feel like there's no other reason. If you want to do something like this, if it coincides with your goals and stuff like that, I feel like it's a no-brainer in my opinion. Personally, I came out here since 2 weeks ago, and I met Kale I saw his YouTube video on my feed, and I reached out to him, and here we are. So opportunities will come as you get out of your comfort zone, in my own opinion. And so, is there anything that you'd like to, maybe we didn't cover? We covered taxes, we covered how you got started, one property, now you have 7 properties in a hotel or something like that?
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you think that the audience should know in terms of this business model?
I mean, kind of like what you're saying with like living in a foreign country, just kind of that arbitrage is huge. Like if you can earn Western dollars, maybe it's online, maybe it's with Airbnb, living in a foreign country. That's what I think is a huge advantage to this kind of like business model is,
right.
You could do it in the U.S. You maybe set up there in the U.S., get some units there, and then you automate it, systemize it. Once you systemize it, automate it, you can pretty much do whatever you want, live wherever you want. You just have to like check up with kind of like who you hire and have kind of manage it. But yeah, I think that's like the main advantage and like opportunity is you could do it in the U.S. You could go to a foreign country, do it there. Especially what I found with doing it in Medellin Colombia is like as a foreigner, just having kind of like a business mindset from someone from like the U.S. is a huge advantage to living in Colombia, because what you'll find in Colombia is they're just not really with the times. Their business mentality is not even like close to just the service level. Like you'll go to a restaurant and you'll be waiting 10 minutes and the waiter, like, yeah, the service level is just not here. So, you know, if you can bring you know, just a normal, you know, American business mindset and service level, you'll be, you know, far above like local competition. So yeah, I find it actually better to do it, you know, as a foreigner here, just with, you know, that, and yeah, I think people trust you more as well, because most guests are, you know, American. So if they see that you're, you know, their host is American as well, there's kind of that trust thing too.
Okay, cool. And since you're, did you have something else?
I don't know.
Okay. So, in terms of, since you're a foreigner investing in Colombia, I'm sure there are some incentives for foreigners to inject money into this economy, right?
Yeah,
what does that look like?
So they do have like some visa options, where, you know, like they're trying to encourage FDI, like foreign direct investment.
Okay.
I think they go more for like, you know, big investors like multinationals and things like that. But there's also like some visa options to invest. So like what I'm looking at now is the investment visa. And if you invest, it's 20,000 USD. Basically, you just move that into a Colombian bank account. You don't actually have to invest it in anything. I plan on doing that, but you don't actually have to. You get a visa for 3 years, and then at the end of that 3 years, you can extend it for another 3 years. They have other kind of investment visas, like you invest $200,000 in property, you get a visa for I think like 5 or 10 years. So yeah, they try to encourage foreign investment.
And I'm sure there's a limit, because there's a threshold where, because they allow you to get a passport for this country, correct? So I mean, was it? I'm sure maybe it's 100,000 or something.
For a passport, I don't know what you have to do for that. But these are just like for visas.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. Because, you know, if you plan on living kind of a nomadic lifestyle, because if you have some sort of cash flow without you having to put in your time, that allows you to be, you know, you have options. You can go wherever you'd like, and having certain passports in certain countries give you certain privileges, which is a plus. So definitely, I'm going to look into how much you have to invest in a country in order to get a passport. I mean, have you looked at buying property so what sectors? I'm sure Poblado, right? It's a good sector, and then Laureles, right?
Laureles and Envigado, but mainly in Poblado, yeah.
Okay. And so the prices are relatively higher, of course, but they're still cheap. I mean,
yeah.
So
I think to buy it's like 150,000, 200,000 for like 2-bedroom apartment in Poblado. The reason I haven't looked at like buying is because as a foreigner you can't get a loan here.
Okay.
So you have to pay 100% cash, and I just don't want to put that much money in the property, and number two, in a foreign country.
Right. Yeah.
You never know what's
Too risky. Too risky.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I feel like we covered a lot in this video. Do you have anything else you'd like to say, or we covered pretty much?
Yeah, I mean that pretty much does it. I mean, I think my favorite thing about the business model, like I said, is you kind of do it, you know, wherever U.S. foreign country, you know, systemize it, automate it. Once you have it automated, you can, you know, have more time, freedom, and flexibility.
Right. Okay.
So
a lot of opportunity with this business model, and as well as many other business models. If you're looking to not be obligated to a kind of a job or something, you know, consider a business model like this. Low barrier entry, because he started with 3,500 essentially after.
Yeah.
So
it's not like traditional real estate. If you buy like the 20% down payment, and like all the closing costs, everything that goes along with it is a huge capital, investment and kind of barrier to entry.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I hope that this is it for this video. If you have any questions, comment down below. We'll take a look and answer them. And if you want to see more of these videos, give it a thumbs up, because it helps out to push videos out in the algorithm. I'm going to link Kale's channel in the description, because he does more of the Airbnb, and you have more of an insight. He does apartment tours, and stuff like that. So check out his channel, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Yeah. Thanks for watching.
All right. See you guys.
That's good. Yeah.
Sounds good. Very informative.
Yeah.
Oh, it was like 30 minutes, exactly what.
Yes.